It seems that the Jews were saved by an alien race. You mentioned it may have been...
In a sense, yes, they were guided out by an alien race, yes. The pillar of fire, the pillar of cloud, was basically a mothership.
And you mentioned before it was something like the Anunnaki?
Not exactly, but something like it, yes. We were talking earlier about the idea that there's another offshoot. It's that offshoot.
Can you expand on that offshoot?
Simply that they had the best interests of guiding your culture back into a certain kind of an alignment after the original group of Anunnaki had kind of, well, I'll just say, messed things up.
And why did they take this group specifically?
Because there are certain genetic attributes, not the only group, but there are certain genetic attributes in that group that happen to come about from the original genetic infusion from the Anunnaki in creating Homo sapiens that would be beneficial in the creation of the hybrids in the future. Because they already knew that Earth was going to become the sixth hybrid race. So they first drew from the genetic group that had some of the highest potential to form the genetic templates for the future hybrids.
And is Hebrew their language?
Whose language?
The Anunnaki?
No.
Do you know where this language came from?
Yes, it started with a symbol, but it's not that it's their language. The idea is that there is one particular shape that sort of looks like an upward spiral, that when you hold it in different positions, the shadow keeps changing, and therefore it creates the different alphabet, all the different letters of that particular alphabet. That became a language. They bequeathed it as a language. They constructed it as a language, but it's not the Anunnaki's language.
And where did this shape come from?
Well, the idea is to understand that it is simply representational of the active principle in existence. The spiral, the expanding spiral, but of a certain kind of dimension that represents a fractal, the underlying format of physical reality, structurally, mathematically.
That's very interesting.
So it's a vibrational resonance language that represents the underlying structure of physical reality in your consciousness. That's why it resonates. That's why it's a sacred language. It contains properties of golden proportions and phi ratios and Fibonacci sequences that, again, are the mathematical underpinnings of physical reality.
And by speaking the language, does it give us any special energy?
By singing the language, it does. Because, again, it's about resonance. The language was actually originally sung, not spoken. It's not really, again, exactly a language as you think of it today. It's more the idea of what you would call spells, enchantments, chants. Yes?
Yeah.
That's why you still use the term spelling, because it puts you in a vibrational state that actually allows for the control of matter.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes.
In my readings, I've been told I have a program to communicate, and that it has to do with symbols. So then Carty is here to teach me her language while I teach her mine?
In a sense, yes. You understand that in many languages on your planet, the symbols that are used in their spelling do also contain vibrational codes.
Yes. Can you give me one that I should
Well,
begin?
one of the primary examples is the Hebrew language.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that there is encoded within the different symbols that represent concepts and letters a vibrational code that can be unlocked to understand the innate structure of existence. Because every single letter in the Hebrew language is actually a shadow projection of one particular shape, changing its position to create the different letters. If you were to have a light and throw shadows on the wall, the shape being an upward spiral, like a ram's horn. You would find that you can turn that one shape in certain configurations to create every single letter in the shadows of the Hebrew alphabet. And thus it actually unlocks, when you speak and spell and sing the vibration of the Hebrew language, actually unlocks the codification directly into your genetics and allows for the opening of keys that have yet to be opened in your bodies that were originally part of the Anunnaki connection, but many of which have still yet to unlock within your genetic structure.
Is Gallic also one of these languages?
It's an offshoot, but not a complete one.
So would you say Hebrew is like the purest sigil?
No, it's not the purest.
Okay.
But really, if you wanted the purest, you would have to go all the way back to Atlantean. But you can find some things that are very close in Sumerian, Akkadian, things like that.
Okay. Because we don't have the Atlantean language.
No, not completely enough anyway. You have bits and pieces and fragments in other cultures.
Okay. So, great. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
Next.
And that will be all for now.
All right. Thank you.